The top stories. The shopping's done, now let the Christmas fun begin. The church whose hampers were stolen says it's been overwhelmed by the generosity of Bajans. And Chanderpaul says the Windies can recover in South Africa. Welcome to Nation News for Wednesday, December the 24th, 2014, Christmas Eve.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your time, your way.
The last-minute shopping frenzy is over and early evening services are already underway ahead of the grand celebration on Christmas Day. Everywhere you looked around the city and shopping centres, it was bumper to bumper, shoulder to shoulder, as thousands left it until Christmas Eve to complete their festive buying. Gift shops, supermarkets and bakeries were among those taking the bulk of the traffic, and that's the humankind. On the road, motorists had to exercise patience in getting from place to place. The shopping over, it's time to give thanks, and the traditional midnight mass in some churches will be followed by sunrise services on Christmas Day itself, the festive lime and police band concert in Queen's Park, and the sumptuous feasts that make Christmas Day the real deal for most of us. Now, have you got everything? Sure? Wouldn't want you to annoy the neighbors by scrunging ingredients made a recipe, okay? Barbados has been given a $20 million present just in time for the holidays. It has come from the European Union in support of the government's Human Resource Development Programme. Head of the EU delegation here, Michael Barfoot, said it was the second portion of a total of $130 million, and he acknowledged that it came at a good time for the country.
Now, the release of this second tranche is particularly timely in view of the need to retool and retrain workers that have lost their jobs as a result of the current economic difficulties in Barbados. The next tranche will be subject to a review of Barbados' economic performance. It will be linked to a reduction of the final deficit, macroeconomic stability, progress in public finance management, including oversight and transparency. Given the present economic climate in Barbados, fulfillment of certain indicators is important for the European Union, as this would reflect fiscal prudence going forward. The EU has an ongoing dialogue with the government of Barbados on these issues.
A further $40 million is still owed Barbados, and Mr. Barfoot said he hoped the country met the requirements for this to be disbursed. He said he would be working with the government towards that goal. Now, how do you like your Christmas trees, real or fake? Well, it seems that Bajans have fallen in love again with real trees. Street Beat in the Weekend Nation, which comes out a day early on Christmas Day, is reporting that some venues sold out early of newly cut Christmas trees, having been caught by surprise by the demand. Lovers of real Christmas trees say they prefer them because they look and smell superb. It was a story that outraged many, particularly at this Christmas time. The theft of hampers at the Devils Road Gospel Assembly is what we're talking about. But if you're among those wondering what is happening to our society, well, there is some redemption. Officials of the church say they've been overwhelmed and gratified by the generosity of Barbadians, companies and individuals, so much so that they were able to provide even more hampers than planned to needy residents in the community. The man who has become the public face of government's environmental health program is retiring after 35 years in the public service. Tyrone Applewhite, government's chief environmental health officer, was one of 4 new retirees honoured at a Ministry of Health ceremony. The others were Personnel Officer Lorna Skeet, Advisory and Inspection Team Coordinator for Private Hospitals and Nursing Homes Angela Crawford, and Executive Secretary Sonia Seeley. Together, they have about 150 years of public service. The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations is hoping that new hotel projects due to start next year will have positive results for Barbados. CITUSAB President Cedric Morrell said the Congress was hoping that the economy would grow to the point where retrenched government workers can be absorbed into the private sector. Children in Ward C7 of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital haven't been forgotten this festive season. They receive gifts and lots of good cheer on Tuesday. About 50 members of the 4-H clubs of Holy Innocents, St. Jude's and Ellerton Primary paid the children a special visit, bringing gifts and leading them in singing Christmas carols. In sport, early on Friday morning, Barbados time, long-suffering West Indies cricket fans will likely gather around their television sets, if they recover in time from the previous day's excesses, of course, to watch the team's fortunes in South Africa. They wouldn't expect much given the humiliation the West Indies suffered in the first test. But don't tell that to the most experienced batsman, Chanderpaul, who has expressed confidence in his team's ability to bounce back in the second test match in Port Elizabeth. Chanderpaul says the Caribbean side has players who can step up to compete against the #1 team in the world. And finally, men take note. This is exactly how a festive-themed marriage proposal is done. John Ayres disguised himself as Santa Claus, complete with red and white suit, beard and glasses, before proposing to Leanne O'Hara at an indoor ski centre in Manchester in England. Leanne, 29, thought she was taking her nephew to Santa's grotto at the centre. I had no idea the man in the suit was her fella. John had asked the centre's Santa if he could help with John's surprise, and he duly obliged by lending his outfit and grotto for the evening. Halfway through the visit, John revealed his true identity to Leanne in a scene which featured real snow before asking her to marry him. Thankfully, she said yes. It was so romantic, she gushed. It's the best early Christmas present ever. That's the Christmas Eve edition of Nation News. For more, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. And get the Weekend Nation for your Christmas Day reading. A Merry Christmas from all of us here at Nation News.